All right, I'm creating a lens hood for the DJI Mavic Pro. This is going to be to stop sun from hitting the lens of the camera directly. And I use the dimensions from Peter Homer, and I'll link to his YouTube channel below. He puts out extremely useful videos, so I highly recommend that you go to his channel, check out his videos. And I have it drawn on some painter's tape that I put over the hood here, and I'm going to go ahead and get the Dremel out, and we'll go ahead and cut this up. All right, not quite enough. I put a little bit more tape so I could see the edges. This side seemed to be okay, but this side with the little vent hole there where the rubber piece attaches needs to be shaved a little bit more. So I'm going to take a little bit more off of that side. Okay, I've taken a bit of very light grade sandpaper and gone over the areas that I cut away to make sure that these edges are smooth. And then also I roughened up the inside a little bit so it would hold the paint a little bit better. This is after I painted it. It's been drying overnight. I did have to put a little bit more tape on there and go over one more time. The paint I had was kind of a slightly textured black. Doesn't really matter, but it's a flat black. You definitely want to use a flat black as opposed to anything else because you're not trying to get the light not to reflect upon the camera. So you can see the inside is all done with the paint. The outside is still the plastic so you don't scratch off the paint there. And if I go ahead and attach this onto the Mavic, you can see, I'll go ahead and flip it over how you normally see it. It gives a little bit, mostly side protection. The top is going to give you a little bit, but it's mostly going to be side to side. You have to keep in mind that the sun's always going to be up above the Mavic to a certain degree. The other thing that I want to mention, I'll go ahead and flip this over so you can see it a little bit better, is that I mentioned earlier in the video that I used initially the measurements for Mike Homer. And again, I'll link to his video down below. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. He has very good, useful, in-depth videos on Mavic information. But anyway, I started off with his measurements. I found that when I twisted the Mavic very quickly side to side, these side areas were showing up. Now, you're normally not going to fly the Mavic and be turning that quickly. It's not going to make for good video, so you're probably not going to want to do that. I did want to err on the side of caution. I just did not want really any part of this cover to show up in the video. So I went ahead and trimmed a lot more than he had trimmed out of his. You will find that these aftermarket parts made specifically for this also don't cut out as much from the sides. So those are going to show possibly if your Mavic jerks to one side, if you turn it rather quickly and you're doing a video, those sides are going to show up there. Again, I don't know that it's going to be a big issue, and the trade-off is that the more you leave on these sides, the more sun reflection you're going to block. So I did want to point out that I ended up taking off a lot more of these sides than you probably need to, but just keep that in mind, and you'll have to make the decision on how much you want to take off. But overall, I think it came out very nice. You do have to remove this in order to take the inner gimbal lock off. So you'll have to take this off and remove it. And then, of course, the rubber piece still covers the entire gimbal protector. So that stays on there without any problem. And still, you know, you could push through this a little bit. That's going to be the difference there, is if you pushed hard enough, you would go down to the camera. But you should have the gimbal lock in there, so it shouldn't move around. Should offer enough protection, definitely for the lens. You're not going to be able to hit the lens directly with this rubber piece on. So that's something else to keep in mind. But I bought this plastic piece. Actually comes with another rubber piece as well. I bought this plastic piece directly from DJI. Right now they're $11 in the US. And they come like this with their own rubber piece. So on this original, I'll leave the rubber piece on there. I'll take this off in order to put the gimbal lock on. And then when I do that, most likely, I'll just go ahead and put on the clear piece that's solid, and then use this as just a third party or an accessory on there. When I take everything off, I'll just put this on right before I fly and do it that way. So I hope this video helped out a little bit. If you do have any comments or any questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you on that. So I do appreciate you watching this video, and have a great time flying.